Okay, Mom.
What are you taping? Put him to bed.
Coming up right now on Weather Underground 8.
Right now on Weather Underground.
Well, we're so glad you can stay with us tonight for a special edition of Weather Underground. We're tracking a nor'easter, first one of the season. I'm Mike Bettis.
I'm Alex Wilson. We've got special live coverage for you all evening. We're with you on the air until midnight Eastern. And that includes our teams here in the studio and out there in the very soggy Northeast.
Yeah, it has not been a fun day. No question about it. It will not be a fun night. In fact, weather could get worse tonight. So I want to show you what's going on this evening because for a lot of you, it's wind and rain. It just does not let up. There's a look at the water vapor image. Now, the areas that are highlighted here in this orange color, it's dry air, but the white and the purple, that's where we've got the really saturated air and a ton of rain that's coming down for us right now. Our nor'easter, our low, sits right in here, and so we've got a lot of wind associated with that. Winds are very gusty today. 40 to 50 mile per hour winds have been quite common, but so has the rain. A ton of rain happening for us today with a lot of flooding happening. So from, say, New Jersey up through New York, there are a lot of locations here. We've got green polygons indicating the flooding that's happening for us. All right, so we've got a little band that's about to hit us here in Nantucket and out on Cape Cod. I think the rain gets a little heavier for you tonight in coastal Massachusetts. We've got a line of showers getting really close to New York, just a few minutes away from hitting you here, but it's been a wet go along Long Island tonight. Showers up through, I'll say, the Hudson Valley here, Greene and Ulster counties with a flood warning, working way back towards Syracuse, Ithaca, Cayuga, Cortland, and Tompkins counties with a flash flood warning tonight. In fact, a smaller area where we have a flash flood emergency, and so life-threatening flooding happening for us right now in Moravia and in Block, as the inlet here has gone a couple of feet above major flood stage, and so that warning goes until 8:30 tonight. Stay off the roads. It will save your life. You just stay put and stay home. Over around, say, Rome and Utica and Hamilton, Madison, Oneida, Onondaga counties are all under flash flood warning.
Yes.
Numerous areas where flooding has been reported. All the
Mom.
blue dots on the map overlaid on the radar are showing you those locations where flooding has been reported. The areas that are highlighted with a little yellow, of course.
I was
in a
looking
place
at
like
it. I'm like,
Chester,
something was
Tannersbrook
in
Road,
this.
road closed here.
I don't know what it's
Passaic,
from either.
Passaic Street Market and State
Take
Route
your phone
21
that way
closed
so I can
because of
put
flooding.
these
So
up.
you're gonna
I'ma die.
tomorrow, unfortunately, even though that rain will back off. This area in particular is where we're concerned in dark green for flooding through tomorrow morning with the heaviest of rain from Boston back down toward Bridgeport and New York. Alex?
On the Weather Channel's Justin Michaels joins us live from New York City tonight. Justin, it has been a kind of a miserable day, and we've got more rain coming in this evening.
You know, Alex, for the last few hours, we've had a nice break, really. This morning was terrible. Torrential rains coming
This
down, a
morning
terrible
was
morning
terrible.
commute. But it's tonight that we're going to include
Tonight's
the wind
worse?
into that rain. And in fact, as
Please.
beautiful as it is right now, in fact, let me get out of the way
I don't want my
so you can take it in
thing
Queens.
down.
Absolutely stunning. But
Okay.
this is probably the last
Well,
time you're
take
going to see
what
it
down?
tonight. So take it in while you
Nothing.
can, because we've got some
What?
intense rains
God.
just
Don't laugh
on
at
our
me.
doorstep off to the east, coming back
You know I
east
can
to
see you
west,
laughing at
which
me,
is
right?
not the normal
I
on this
know.
neck of the woods, but that's
Guys,
what
if I could show you her face right now, you would
coming
laugh.
back into the neighborhood. And what it's going to do is dump a ton of rain.
My too long way to you.
We're going to throw in the winds that are going to be quite intense. Could be 35 to 40 mile per hour gusts, and they're going to sustain throughout the course of this evening,
No.
overnight, into tomorrow
Why are
morning,
we even on
also
there?
into
That
tomorrow.
scares me that
As
we're
you look
even
through your
on
day.
there. 30
And
to
the rain is really not gonna be
35
pushing out
miles
of
an
here
hour?
until sometime midday, and then it's going to be actually not a bad evening commute except for the wind that you might be dealing with. So definitely as calm as it's been
Who
for the
is
last
this
several
guy?
hours, and maybe people
Mike or something, I don't know.
because I want you to know we still have
You
a
don't even know
flash
who your
flood
brother
watch
people
in
are?
place
This guy's
right
new.
now in Long Island City, and really basically all of New York City. All
Sorry, I have to keep tilting the
camera.
cameras.
There are warnings outside of here, but the watch is here right now. And remember, we get one of those bands that sets up over top of us, and we get an intense, dump of rain. That watch can turn into a warning very quickly, and we can find ourselves in a tough situation. So, not the time to let your guards down. Best place you can be is the place you should be right now. On a beautiful evening in the fall in New York City. Home. Stay home. Watch the Weather Channel. We'll keep you informed of what's going on, and make sure, Alex, you're keeping very safe, because, Alex, now is the time you don't want flooding. You don't want it during the day, but you definitely don't want it at night if you have to go out and you're driving around, because when you're driving along, Alex, you know as well as I do, you cannot tell a flooded street from a non-flooded street at night. A very dangerous situation can set itself up at this time of the night.
Absolutely. You brought up a good point. You know, stay home. Make it an easy night. Mike has submitted a casserole to the conversation. I have submitted the flannel sheets, and I know you're a brown liquor kind of guy. I feel like it might be like a good night for a hot toddy on your couch.
What in the...
You know, I'll just take I'll take a Balvenie 14 Caribbean cast meat if you're serving it up.
Yeah, no, it's on me tonight,
Okay.
right? It's just, you just need an excuse to stay in. I mean, why not? It keeps everybody safe and comfortable. Just be comfortable. Put on the sweatpants. Justin, thank you so much. We're going to get back to Justin in just a bit. Want to give you the timing for a few of these cities, though. A place like New York City, as Justin mentioned. Hope you enjoy the skyline right now, because it is changing. We're going to see more of that rain roll in, so that skyline view, not what you paid for.
'Cause she's-
You might even
I can't say it.
clouds, although maybe less rain out there on the road. Some good news for the New York City area drivers. Same can't be said for a place like Providence. We've got rain showers that will stick with us through the next few hours and overnight. That's the best chance of some of the steadiest, the heaviest rain. But even tomorrow morning, you can see Boston to Providence. We've got the rain that continues. And throughout the afternoon, at least scattered rain showers likely here across eastern sections of New England. That'll hold true in the Boston area as well. Boston, some moderate to heavy downpours here over the next few hours. And tomorrow morning, rain widespread across eastern Massachusetts. Some pockets of downpours. And then we get you into the afternoon. Yeah, it's a little bit more scattered, but Mike, we're not done with the rain by any means. So you can anticipate at least some light rain for that afternoon drive.
And you can definitely anticipate the wind that comes along with it. The wind may stay longer than the rain does. It's gotten darker in Cape Cod, but the winds you can see rustling through the trees there. Now, I will say this. I'm proud of these trees. They still have all their leaves on them, and hardly any leaves have come off. There's still a lot of green on that tree. Just a little touch of yellow. We saw it earlier today when the sun was still up. But, you know, a lot of places where the temperature has been very mild so far this fall, and so maybe the color coming a little bit later than usual may get us through this
Oh, thank God.
nor'easter. But the winds may gust
We're not in the
as high as
purple.
75 miles per hour, especially
That's
at the
good.
coastal locations. The winds have been gusty today in a place like Norwalk, 60 mile per hour winds, New Haven, Greenwich, mid-50s for us, and I think that some of these winds, especially a place like a Boston, or a Chatham, a Montauk, New York. Those are places that might see the highest of winds for the remainder of the night. Still out of the northeast at
Okay,
5:33
it says we're good.
in Boston. It is no picnic, that is for sure. And here's the wind forecast through the evening, only going higher from here. So
Purple means 75 miles per hour wind gust. We're not in the purple. We're in light purple. Light purple means wind.
Just a little bit closer to the shoreline here.
Yes.
Our winds as we go through the early morning. For many of you, still breezy, even down through, say, New York and Philly, 25 to 30 miles per hour winds are very possible for us here. Winds up through Maine, 30 to 35. We start to see at least some signs of hope here with the winds coming down just a little bit. Going into tomorrow night, I think by Friday morning, the winds are calm in most locations.
Possible power
Because
outages.
of the amount of rain that we've had, because of how many trees still have leaves on them right now, and how intense the winds will be overnight, we still have that threat for some power outages. So in this purple area, which would include Boston and Gloucester, Sandwich, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, Providence, down toward Montauk.
I think we'll survive.
Outages are anticipated, with likely outages, say around.
It's called call PSEG
Or
and get them to fix the power.
Worcester, or even close to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, all locations where you want to be safe in these environments. So operate your generator if you lose power outside only. Carbon dioxide fumes need to be outside, not inside. Don't use candles or open flame. Batteries only, lanterns and flashlights. Stay away from power lines. Call 911 if one's down in your yard, and make sure that you have an ability to keep power.
If the power is out, call 911.
Equipment, oxygen,
They said the best thing to do when the power is out is 911.
who's electricity. Alex?
All right, advice. Well, we are getting a look at some of the damage in Fredericktown, Missouri.
Oh no, tornado, EF3.
At least 10 buildings in the city
And
were
Missouri.
destroyed. Metal siding twisted around tree trunks. That, of course, thanks to the 165 mile per hour winds, and a lot of tree damage here in the community. Now, amazingly, no reports of any fatalities or injuries in this town of about 4,000 people. So that is good news. Anyone you talk to would say, I'd rather clean all this up than have lost friends, neighbors, or family members. So everybody got the warnings and got to their safe spot. Severe weather back in play across the Plains states today. Looking at the central and southern plains, 95% chance of a watch in these areas here across the plains. So from Nebraska down into portions of Texas, where we've got that building instability. So we've got the instability for those storms to grow. Basically, that air rising. We see the clouds building up and those storms firing across the area. I think we'll start with the possibility that we could even see some supercells, so some of those individual thunderstorms, before we transition to more of a damaging wind overall line of storms overnight. This afternoon into tonight, you can see it's the southern plains that we're watching most closely in these areas. Torcon values of 2 to 3. Moving through the next few hours, we'll watch for those supercells. As I mentioned, maybe a few individual storms firing into parts of Kansas and parts of Texas. Then we see that line quickly develop and take over during the late evening and overnight hours. It races east while you're sleeping. So for a lot of these areas, these storms are coming while you're in bed, while you're likely zonked out. So have a way to get the warnings, whether it's an app, a weather radio, or just plan to be in your safe spot, because these storms moving through a place like Dallas at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, Oklahoma City around midnight, 1 a.m. That'll continue to move east during the day tomorrow. So we start things off on Wednesday morning with storms in Texas, and they'll race east during the afternoon. So we'll be watching for that threat in other communities tomorrow. But Mike, timing this out, again, a lot of people will not necessarily be up and around when these storms are coming through their area.
So it's important to have a plan ready to go. It's important to know the timing for your location. So I've known people, Alex, that will literally like set their alarm clock for an hour before the severe weather is anticipated to arrive. Kind of clever, because then you can watch it all along and know where it's going. So Oklahoma City, if you're going to do that, I'd set an alarm for about maybe midnight or so, maybe 11:30, because here comes the storm line. There you are, 1 o'clock comes ripping down I-35 here in Oklahoma City, and Norman, give it another hour later, is hitting you in Tulsa. And Tulsa, it may stick around anywhere at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's still coming down heavily for us here, and there is going to be that risk for tornadoes. I think the morning drive and kids hopping on school bus is going to be really rough for you. I think the roads are going to be very, very wet, and I think it is just going to be howling out there for you. Fort Worth and Dallas. How about the timing for us? You're going to see these storms come through Fort Worth about 2 o'clock in the morning. Here we are at 3, really raining heavily. Little individual cells here could be producing tornadoes. So there is going to be that risk. 45 minutes an hour later hitting you in Dallas. Exact same result, unfortunately. And you may end up seeing some bow echoes along this line as well, which may cause some wind gusts in excess of 70 miles an hour. In the morning, still wet roads, but the severe weather at that point had shifted off to your east, but a very rough night. A lot of places, Alex, and happening truly in the dead of night.
Right, and then we wake up tomorrow morning to storms, and throughout most of the day, we've got storms. Oh man, it's a party now in New Orleans. The first hour, there was no one out there. Now, this is what I anticipated.
We've almost died.
Look at all these people crossing the street.
By the way,
Let's
this time
party,
tomorrow,
bro.
Oh my God, Mom, look.
I don't see anybody out there. Not because they
They're
don't like the
used
party,
to
but because
almost
there's
dying
storms
down
coming
there.
through. It's 78 degrees right now, so
They're used to
a
that
nice
shit.
evening. By the way, when I said it's a party in New Orleans, everybody in the studio here was like running up
Look,
to the TV.
they lit.
I want to see the party. Mark's in here. He wants to see the party. Everybody wants to see the party. Tomorrow into tomorrow night, though.
She's so
press pause
overjoyed
on the
right
party,
now.
because I don't want you out there
She
walking
can't
around,
herself.
damaging winds. Again,
There's
the
so
main
much-
threat with our
At least she's happy doing her job.
She
all the way to
is
the Florida
overjoyed.
Panhandle, so a lot of communities,
She
a lot
drank
of
too much
people in
coffee.
the zone tomorrow for severe weather.
Oh yeah, she
Really?
seems like the type to get Starbucks every single morning.
Possible, but
Creepy
definitely
out.
will be the
I've
greatest
never seen
concern.
a weather
Tomorrow
person
morning,
so.
College Station,
You're gonna see me like that.
10, 11 o'clock for Houston.
Oh
Lake
my
Charles
God.
during the early
You're gonna be
afternoon.
like-
I'm gonna embarrass you.
During the late day drive.
When you get a
Again,
load
these
of this
storms could produce some
storm,
hail.
when
We
you
could
see
some
this
tornado
storm,
spin-ups along the
You're gonna want to chug down.
winds will be the primary concern, and very, very heavy rain. By the way, we'll get a
did not.
secondary line along that front. So some areas may be in for
You're gonna want to go outside and look at that rain, people.
Arkansas. By 11 o'clock, Mike, those storms still in the western Florida Panhandle. So truly an all-day event tomorrow.
Definitely. Alex, thank you for that. A lot more weather when we come back. Fall colors, they're in full swing right now. What will this
First
nor'easter
of all,
do
there's
to
not going to be no leaves on the trees. So I don't know what he's talking about.
Mama, we'll survive. It's not the end of the world just because it's a bomb cyclone.
A what?
The name of it is the bomb cyclone. The name of the storm is.
That's something for the bomb cyclone.
It's gonna like drop a bomb.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do to the bomb cyclone?
tear the fifth.
Oh, why would you do that? What would Llama do?
You love every moment of it, though.
I mean, they should have went into detail.
Nor'easter moving through the northeast. A lot of scenes like this. High water roads, cars sliding.
That's what we drove through this morning, right?
They've been filling up with water.
No, not
This
that
scene
bad.
could be repeated over and over.
That looks like
and over again.
That looks like doomsday.
That looks like Katrina.
Katrina's.
Later tomorrow, but seems like a lot
Katrina.
at this point, doesn't it? So heavy rainforest tonight at times. Some rain getting close to New York. Some heavier bands coming.
Alright, so there's our wind gust meter.
And Rhode Island. The winds have been very gusty. Right now, gusting to 32.
13 miles an hour at best.
Heavier rain has caused issues for us in and around New York. We do have currently Bergen, Bronx, and New York.
Mama, it's just green.
Us right through here.
Don't point.
Oh my God, this is us.
Yeah.
Significant,
We're
put it
here.
that way. That line's progressive and it's moving. I don't think it
We're
sits
actually
right on
here,
top of it
central.
for a lengthy amount
Yeah,
of time.
and we're only in green, so we're good.
We do have a
Only
flood
in green? You don't
advisory
see
in
them
effect.
dark green
Some
areas?
light to moderate rain.
Dark green is kind of heavy, but normal.
Now, we've had
They have different levels of radar color.
The
across
light
western New York,
green
so a
is
place like
normal. The
Rochester,
dark green is
down toward
very
North
heavy.
Dansville. We have a flood
No, red is very heavy. Red and orange and yellow's heavy.
likely locations. These
Flash flooding. Ah,
You
why?
heard what I said?
Why does the earth give us hell?
because of
Green!
backing off for us
Our
this
whole
morning,
thing
but
is
today,
green.
Why does the earth give us hell?
you can do is
Stop cursing!
Okay.
stay off the roadways. That'll keep you safe tonight.
That's a
First
lot.
again, I'm gonna take the phone away and that's it.
Mama,
There will
look.
be no.
Look at the leaves. Look at the leaves.
Goodbye.
Did you just really just do this? Can you unpause it?